G'day, Doggies fans, all things Bulldogs. It's the Dogfathers keys to victory. It is round 8 and it is against the Brisbane Broncos, a game that we must win. We must continue this streak going, and what better way to do it against one of the competition heavyweights who have been humbled a little bit. They've had losses to the Canberra Raiders, they've had losses to the Roosters and to the Warriors in recent weeks. They're on a 5-day turnaround. And from what I can see, a couple of players have been dropped from their side or out of their team through injury in Jordan, Riki, and also we have Reece Walsh who's missing as well. This means that Selwyn Cobbo is starting at fullback, and Brendan Piakura returns from his suspension. He's been a definite enforcer in that side, puts on some massive hits, and he'll be looking to help turn the tide for the Brisbane Broncos in front of what is expected to be a huge crowd in greasy conditions, potentially rainy conditions, as we expect some pretty poor weather and heavy rain in the Brisbane area tomorrow. Now, the keys to victory are pretty simple in this game. The team that can play the most patience, can hold the possession, can win that grind and then execute off the back of it, is going to go ahead and win this match. And with the team that the Broncos have named, it's I already feel that the Dogs have half won this battle already in the side which the Broncos have named. We're going to have a look at that side now, because it is a very light bench for a Broncos team. They have named, and let's have a look at it. On their bench, Corey Pakes a hooker, Corey Jensen a prop, Jaden Hunt a edge back rower, and Tyson Smoothie a utility, can play hooker, small lock. It's a very similar look to a bench of the Bulldogs, which has Kurt Mann and Bailey Hayward in it, with Satili Tupanua and Harry Hayes. The difference being that Tupanua and Hayes are playing in the middle, but both have a history of being back rowers themselves. So look, from that point of view, it gives me great confidence. And the reason I say that is because I'm starting to see teams try to mimic what the Bulldogs are doing. They know the Bulldogs play an up-tempo game, and they know that they're not going to outbeat them on fitness, because the Dogs literally are proving to everyone they're the fittest team in the competition for 2025, and they are playing at a level that other teams have been unable to sustain, and the Broncos are looking to get that prototype right. I think for the Broncos, it'll be to see how long they can go set for set with the Bulldogs, and then to utilise the experience of their halves and the absolute amount of talent that they have in the players like Selwyn Cobbo, Dean Mariner, Katoni Staggs, Jesse Arthurs, and so on. And Shibasaki's been one of their best all season, and he's a player which has been causing a lot of issues for the opposition teams, and has been voted as the player's player on a couple of occasions for 2025. The forward pack, Carrigan, Huss, Billy Walters, who likes to get out of dummy half. He's very crafty, scored some tries from there. Xavier Willison, big boy. Same with Brendan Piakura and Kobe Heverington. There's a lot of there's a lot of impact in that side. There's a lot of defensive aggression in that team, and they'll be looking to turn the tide on what's been happening the last couple of weeks. And what better chance for them to get their confidence up than to play the competition leaders, the side they beat in the trial at the start of the year, the team that Foxtel newspapers and media wrote off at the start of the season based on the loss to the Brisbane Broncos at Redcliffe, in a game where I felt the first 25 minutes where it was all out. The Broncos looked the more dangerous, but the teams went set for set, and there wasn't really all that much between them. And the Broncos won the preseason comp. They got out to a flyer and smashed the Roosters in round 1, but then were humbled in round 2 by the Raiders, and have found it very difficult since then to be a consistent performing team, and they're currently on 8 points. So the Bulldogs lineup, it's been the same back line that you would expect. This is the back line that nearly every Bulldogs fan named to start the season as part of their best 17, with the only difference, some people were picking Blake Wilson, but you got Tracy, Carraz, Bronson Cherry, Stephen Crichton, Marcello Montoya, Matt Burton, Toby Sexton. The pack is King, Marnie, Curran, Kickow, Preston, Salmon. It's been very much a predictable lineup for the Bulldogs. Kurt Mann, Satili Tupanua, Harry Hayes, and Bailey Haywood. If there's any injuries or Hayes isn't quite right, they have said that Daniel Suluka Fafita will be the one to come into the team, and Blake Taff will be there to back up any of the back should someone get injured. So it's an intriguing contest. No doubt about it. Probably one of the matches of the season so far. One of the heavyweight games that we've been waiting for on Brisbane's home turf. It's fifth versus first. And from what I can tell, the Bulldogs, I'm getting more and more confident as you get closer to the game that they're going to go out there and show Brisbane Broncos how small ball is played, how Bulldogs ball is played. And it's good to have that confidence watching this side. It's good to trust that this team's going to go out there, give their best, and give us a performance that we can be proud of. Win or lose, we know that they're going to be in it up until right until the 80th minute. They'll be competing this side, and a side that's only conceded 58 points and 14 points in the last 4 games, which is an unbelievable statistic. In any competition, in any season that's ever been, this is one of the best starts to a season that any team's ever had when it comes to their defensive results that they've been getting. Now, if we can definitely look at some statistics about where the points are being scored on the paddock, where they're conceding and that sort of stuff. So we will do that. So let's look at where the Broncos and the Bulldogs are scoring tries and conceding tries in 2025. So as far as tries being scored, the Broncos have scored 19 of their 34 tries on their left edge. They've scored 6 of their 34 tries through the middle, and they've scored 9 of their 34 tries on the right edge. As far as their defence goes, they're conceding 48% of their tries on their left edge. They've conceded 27 tries, 13 on them on the left-hand side. They've conceded 5 tries through the middle of the ruck and 9 tries on the right-hand edge of the field. So their attack's better on their left-hand side, and it's also where they're conceding the most points as well. When we look at the Bulldogs, tries scored, very even split, 41% on the left-hand side with 11 from 27 tries that the Dogs have scored. 26% of their tries have come through the middle of the field with 7 of 27. And on the right-hand side, 9 tries have been scored. Tries conceded. Now, this is an alarming stat, but it looks worse than it is for the Bulldogs. They've only conceded 11 tries. 11 tries compared to 27 from the Broncos. We've had 1 try conceded on our left edge. So that's Matty Burton, Viliami Kickow, Bronson Cherry and Marcello Montoya are on that left-hand side. Through the middle, we've only conceded 2 tries, which is a phenomenal effort. Through the right-hand edge, 8 of the 11 tries have been scored, with, I think, 6 of those tries coming in the first couple of games. So they have tightened that up a lot. So 8 tries down our right edge. That's Toby Sexton, Jacob Preston, Stephen Crichton, and now Jacob Kiraz, who is in the side. And it must be said that since Jacob's made his return from injury, the Dogs haven't conceded a point. So we can see if that will continue in this match against the Broncos. phenomenal stats, phenomenal results for the Bulldogs, and phenomenal is my word of the year. So looking at the Broncos side, the Broncos team that is playing, we will go back to that. The Broncos side is full of stars, as we said. So on their left edge is Shibasaki and Jesse Arthurs. Okay. That's their left edge. Their right edge is Katoni Staggs. And it'll be Dean Mariner. Selwyn Cobbo going into the fullback role. So obviously the left-hand edge of Shibasaki and Jesse Arthurs will be looking to exploit us. They will be looking to exploit us badly. So the way I think this is going to go down, I think the Broncos will be looking to go set for set with the Bulldogs. They'll be looking to hold possession. They'll be looking to win the ruck, utilise their advantages of Payne Haas and Patrick Carrigan. I expect they're going to put a lot of heat on Max King and Josh Curran. I really feel the heat's going to come for the Bulldogs. I reckon we'll see a Broncos side that has never been as physical as they're going to be in this match. I think they're going to be primed for this game, and they'll be looking to go out there and make a statement against the Bulldogs. It's going to Madge Maguire will have them revved up for this game. People are writing them off, and they'll be looking to get revenge on what the Bulldogs did to them in 2024. Now, one thing I will say is the Dogs know that this is coming. They'll absorb the pressure early. If they're not going anywhere, it will not faze them. They will continue to do what they're going to do. Jacob Carraz, Marcelo Montoya, Cherry and Crichton, they'll all take their hit-ups. They'll all do their part, and they will weather that storm early. Now, the likes of Matt Burton and Viliami Kikau are going to get tested in this game, I believe. I think our left edge will come under fire from the right edge of Katoni Staggs and Dean Mariner. Now, I think that's also where we're going to target. I think we're going to put a lot of balls out to Dean Mariner. We're going to have try and get Katoni Staggs doing a lot of work out of his own end, something that he normally doesn't do a lot of. He is the one they save for the big moments, and I think he's the one that's going to have to do a lot of the work coming out of his end. I think we will attack Dean Mariner. And he's an evasive little fella. Like I've seen him score some amazing tries. This kid is talented, but he's one we're going to want to put a lot of pressure on. Cobbo is another one we don't want to give too much latitude with the ball. Expect a lot of high and deep kicks with that blue and white wall running in a straight line and putting a lot of pressure on Cobbo and the two wingers in this match. The way that we attack the Broncos back three will go a long way to setting it up for the Bulldogs. It's been part of our game plan every week, which is apparent. And I also think we'll see the Dogs compete heavily on a lot of plays. We'll be happy for the Broncos to, be put under a lot of pressure in that sort of point. And that's going to be what's coming for the Bulldogs. There'll be a lot of kicks for the Dogs. There'll be a lot of competition in the air, and expect those Broncos to be competing very, very hard for the football, both in the air, in attack and defence. I think it's going to be a game where kicking is so important. The Broncos with Ben Hunt and the likes of Billy Waters, who can kick like a halfback. You've got Adam Reynolds as well. 40-20s, they're going to throw it all at us. But the Bulldogs aren't scared of them. That's the major thing in this. The Bulldogs are not scared of this Brisbane Broncos side. And whatever they bring, we're expecting it. And I think that the Broncos are going to fall into the trap. I saw it with Wayne Bennett's Dolphins, and even with, the teams he picked for the Dolphins, a team he picked for South Sydney last week, was a side that he was hoping could go toe-to-toe with the Dogs for 80 minutes. And, Knights, similar thing, but they just can't. They're not fit enough for it. Now, in saying that, the Broncos have got players in Payne Huss and Patrick Carrigan, who are going as hard at the 70th minute as they are in the first minute of the game. So they've got some fit, seasoned, very talented players in their forward pack. And, one would say if the Dogs can match it with the Broncos in the forwards, we'll go a long way to winning the match. We contain those players, Huss and Carrigan, can shut down the offloads, but their edges are strong as well. And the fact that those edges, when they do come into play, could cause us a lot of issues. I expect a lot of early ball out to those guys. I expect a bit of variation from the Broncos this week. Yes, they're going to run it through Carrigan and Huss, but I think they may have a few less touches with the ball. There's been a lot of talk about how they're doing too much work. And these other players of the Broncos are going to want to stand up in both attack and defence. I think it's set itself up for the Broncos sort of got their backs against the wall. But one thing I'm going to assure you Dogs fans of is the Dogs know that this is coming. They know that the Broncos are going to want to get retribution. And these are the games we've been lapping up. And there's a little bit of awe about the Dogs. There's a little bit of, a bit of swagger about them. They're wagging that tail, these boys. They're going out there and they know they're good. And they're playing like it. And, you've got the likes of Braithen Astor and all these people talking about, the Dogs are have still got issues with their attack. But without the context, I can tell you, yeah, they bombed a hell of a lot of tries last week. But that was with a rusty Burton and a rusty kick out. We've had to play without $2 million of salary cap for a couple of weeks, for about 3 or 4 weeks. We've got Carraz only just returning. So he's still getting his timing. He's going to be primed for this match now. He's into his third game back. He's third up. Kickow and Burton are second up after a hiccup. They're going to play well this week. And they're going to do their jobs in defence and they're going to play the game plan. And I expect that the Broncos will get their pants pulled down on occasions. Because the thing that happens with teams like the Broncos, when they can't score, same with the Sharks, when they can't score, they panic. And then they start to want to score off every play. They start chasing the game. And they got players who produce some magic moments, no doubt. And you saw them get that game back to 18-all against the Warriors and nearly won it. They've got the talent. But can they go with the Dogs? I don't think they can. I know they've got some players who can go long minutes and do a great job for a long period and who will try to inspire their side. But things the Bulldogs have to do, we have to shut down their offloads. We have to keep doing what we've been doing, which is we've been offloading a lot more and warming into the season the way we go about that business. And the Dogs will produce some plays that they'll need to execute and put some scoreboard pressure on the Broncos. Because one thing you can't do is go to sleep against the Broncos. Because players like Reynolds and Hunt will keep doing the 1%ers. They'll get into positions on the field and take the kicks. But you put them under enough pressure. You force them to make those extra tackles. You hold the ball. You back your defence when they're coming out of their own end and get it into a slog and into a grind. And they don't like it. Their coach wants them to like it. The coach wants them to love it. And I think the 23 grand finalists that should have won the grand final were learning to play like that, and then all went out the window last year when they faced some adversity. Now the new coach is trying to get that back and trying to get that aggression going, and it's a mouthwatering clash. The Bulldogs can beat them through the simple game plans they've been playing. I want to see, though, a little bit more penetration on both the edges this week. I said that we needed that for the Sharks game, and we got it. Some heavy collisions out wide, and obviously the Kurt man is a huge impact for us. His ability to change the point of the attack, whether he decides to accelerate through the line and get away a quick play of the ball with his leg speed, which sets us up on the next play, or whether he crabs back around and creates some second phase, which gives our boys space and an ability to run and create gaps. That's been phenomenal for the Bulldogs on numerous occasions over the last couple of years. And his defence as well. As I said, against that Broncos team last year, Corey Jensen, I saw the fella on the wing, Jesse Arthurs. After they got tackled by Kurt Mann, Killer, they struggled to get to their feet and play the ball. That's the impact this fella has. That's how precision his targeting is with his shoulder in his defensive efforts. He's tough. He's aggressive. And the boys love it. Are we the dogs of war again? I've still got reservations about that. But Cameron Ciraldo's Bulldogs are their own entity, in my opinion. They work. They're like blue heelers. Like they just work. They get to work. They're your working dogs. And they got heart. And they'll take on the biggest, baddest dogs out there. And not only take them on, outsmart them as well. And hit them where it hurts. They're like the wolves of the sea. They're like killer whales. I could make many comparisons. But these boys, they just get out there, they work together, they're hunting a pack, and they target the biggest predators out there. They're a force. They're a force. They play smart, they play hard, they work together. And I see this continuing. Now, there's going to be a game where a team outworks us, outperforms us. It's going to happen. But who says it has to be this week? I think the Dogs are up for the challenge. I think they know what's coming for them. I think they're going to meet that challenge head on and cause the Broncos some real mental misery after this match. I can see that happening. I'm expecting it to happen now. So the Bulldogs to go out there and win by at least 18 points is what I believe they can do. And I think it will be done through, weathering a bit of a storm early by ensuring that they respect the entire Broncos side and paying the respect by the way that they go out and defend their backsides off like they have in every single game that we've seen them over the last couple of years. There's no reason they're not going to do it again. They've got everything to play for. There's nothing, they've won nothing yet, nothing secured, broken some records, given the fans so much so early in this season, but it all means nothing if they go out there and don't put in a good performance, win or lose. I see this team doing great things in this game and making the Bulldog supporters there very, very happy, because the one thing we don't want is that pub song that the Broncos use with all their fair weather fans. There's a lot of fans that are devout, obsessed Broncos fans, but there's a whole bunch that aren't, who are there just for the selfies with and stuff like that. I love the Broncos, and I hope that the Bulldogs players go out there and double down on what we saw last year. Reed Marnie's been considered for Origin. There's so many players being talked about as Origin potential for our Bulldogs in this match. And this is a great test for them. They're going up against the team from last year's winning Origin coach. If they go out there and make a statement against Queenslanders, Reed Marnie goes out there and has a blinder. Jacob Carraz does his thing from the out of yardage. His offloads to get second phase going. His competition for the ball and scoring tries and setting up tries he shouldn't score or set up. Stephen Crichton doing his thing. And I expect him to do a bit more work this week. It'll be needed. Bronson Cherry to continue his names being framed in lights. He's got a huge challenge against Katoni Stags. That's a huge challenge, and he needs to meet it head on. Some mouth-watering clashes in this game. Jacob Preston on that right edge. I think Xavier Willison will be on the left, Piakora on the right. Be Piakora versus Kikau. Now, that's going to be a really good matchup as well. And Kobe Hetherington. I can see some big hits from these Broncos boys. I think they're going to come out with full intent to belt the Bulldogs and try and win the game that way. And the Dogs are going to weather whatever that is, however how long it goes for, and then show them who the team is to beat this year, and that's us. So that's my thoughts on the game. Let me know what your thoughts are. Bulldogs to win by about 18 points, conceding no more than 2 tries. I think they'll get it done, and I think they'll do us proud. And these boys are going to go out there and have an absolute blinder. They'll be under pressure. It won't be easy. Nothing comes easy for this side. And, I keep saying that. They earn everything that they get. Last week, eight line breaks. Scored most of the tries through the forwards, which is another stat. The Dogs, most tries have been scored by our forward pack this year through great footwork, through great support play, and just through relentless patience with the ball and without. And you just can't be prouder of this side at this stage. And I think they're going to continue that for us this week. Whether they win or lose, I think they're going to make us proud in that game and give us fans plenty of reason to continue the hopes that they're going to take us to the promised land now. We can start to think about that. We can get ahead of ourselves. And I'm sure some of you have already bought grand final tickets. And you know what? Well done to you guys that have done that. Let us know your thoughts. That's my thoughts on the game. I think we're going to go out there and do a lot of what we've been doing, but expect to see a bit of variation in the attack. And I really think they're going to focus on Dean Mariner and get Katoni Stags trying to work the ball off his own line. And there'll be no one-out hero stuff. They're going to go out there and continue with the way that they kick the ball long into the corners. I think Toby and Matty will share a lot of the duties again. And I just think it's going to be one of those matches, and whoever earns it will win it. And I think the Dogs are the hardest team to beat when you play our type of footy, and I expect the Broncos are going to try and play our type of footy tomorrow. And teams that do that inevitably don't win. So there you go, the Dogfathers keys to victory. Thanks for listening. Go the Dogs. See you at the game.